Good morning. So today I want to talk about crooked eyebrows. Mine are crooked. Can you see that? So probably about 5 or 6 years ago, I got Botox and she went too low. And as a result, this muscle just does not want to hold this brow up anymore. So my right eyebrow definitely has better hair and also sits a little higher. My left eyebrow does not have as much hair in here in the front, and the brow sits lower. So you can see that. It's frustrating, but I don't want to get any more Botox really. So, and funny thing is I really don't even have very many wrinkles, so I don't know why I did Botox to begin with, but I did it. So let's talk about correcting that. So the first thing that I always look at with my eyebrows is the hairs, if I need to do any trimming. So if I do, I'll just kind of comb them all up. Right now I like to keep as much hair there as I can, so I'm not going to trim any today. But if I needed to, I would comb them all up just like that. And with a little pair of scissors, I'll just kind of put my finger in the way, and then I'll just trim off those little bitty long ones. So it's always one of the first things you want to do before you start plucking any hair, because you want to keep as much of your brow hair as you can. So I'll check this side, and this side is okay too, because again, I want to keep that hair in place. Mine don't really fall around all over, so it's not too bad. So then the next thing you want to look at is placement. So in the beginning, we call this more of like the bulb or the head of the brow, here and here. So that's the first third. And then you have your arch area, and it's going to lay a little differently for most people, but typically where it's going to lay is if you look around the side of the nostril, right up through the outer portion of the iris, which the colored portion of the eye, and up typically is a good spot for an arch. And then the tail, which is the bottom third, is going to be, again, roughly from the side of the nose up through the corner of the eye, and then you'll have sort of your tail. So mine are a little short in the beginning and also a little on the tail. Naturally, that's where they were. I did have my eyebrows powder browed about 6 or 7 years ago, and I just haven't retouched that, but there is a little color on the skin there. It's gone a little cool. I don't really want a cool eyebrow, although they're going to cool down naturally just because the hair is going to eventually probably turn gray, and gray is cool. My hair is warmer, so I want a warmer brow. So I'm going to be working with a warmer tone, and this is definitely a warm tone. So warmer is going to have more red, more yellow, and more orange, versus cool, which is going to have more blue, more green, more black. And so I'm working with a warmer tone. Okay, so for the bulb, I'm gonna kind of pre-mark where I wanna be. I'm also gonna look at the fact that my eyebrow this one does sit higher, and it's never gonna be perfect. It's just never gonna be perfect. So I can't worry about perfection. I just wanna worry about the best symmetry that I can get. And so I'm gonna kind of look at the bottom. And so this brow does lay lower. So if you notice where this pencil is, boy, that brow is really higher right there. And it definitely has more hair than this side has. And most likely when you're looking at yours, one eyebrow is gonna be really good, one eyebrow is not. So I'm actually going to start with the side that needs the most help, which is going to be here. So let's go right up and sort of pre-mark just a little dot on the skin so you can kind of see where I put that. We also want to be sure that we're not going too far into center. So from the tip of the nose, if your nose isn't crooked, you can also look at the Cupid's bow of the lip and kind of come straight up and mark a little center. So even when I do that, when I look at the distance between the center and this little marking and the center and here, this brow still is over further than this one. So now I have to make a determination. So when I come up here, this one's gonna have to also come over just a bit. So I've just marked those 3 little dots. And so what you're looking for is equal distance from center to bulb on both sides. And then when you get to the arch, you also want from the bulb to the arch to be the same distance from point 1 to point 2 and point 1 to point 2 here as well. So yeah, so it's just gonna kind of be a gauge. So I'm gonna make my little center mark just a little darker just for reference so that we can see that. Okay, so now I'm gonna start looking at where my arch is gonna be on this eyebrow. And my arches do sit pretty much naturally right where I would want them. So from the corner of the nose, outer portion of the iris, and I'm just gonna make a little dot there on top just as reference. And then same thing here, corner, iris, make a little dot right there. And then the tail is gonna go from the edge of the nose, side of the nose, or nostril. Sometimes it can be the center of the nostril if your nose is really wide. So eyebrow tails can naturally come down or they can come out. And everybody's face is gonna be a little bit different. So you wanna watch that natural growth pattern. As you can tell, mine come down. So I'm just gonna mark right up through the corner of my eye. Just put a little pencil mark right there. So I might not bring mine down that low because I don't really like mine that low, but some people do. And so then again, right through the corner of the eye, right up through the brow, make a little marking there. Okay, so now we have 3 points that we're looking at. And then I'm also looking at the under portion of my brow and how much natural hair I have one side to the other. So my right side is definitely my better side. I have better hair. All right, so let's fill this in very lightly. And this is a little different for me to do it in this camera versus in the mirror. So I'm gonna look in the mirror while the camera's recording. And I'm just gonna kind of work to give this one the shape that will mirror image. And again, it's not gonna be perfect. We're trying to mirror image this side to this side best we can. And we know that this is where our arch is. I'm going that high, that wasn't the point, but to just simulate where the high point of my brow should be. And then right down there to the tail. And again, I don't really like my brow that long where it says it can go. So I kind of meet in the middle and just find a nice soft stopping point. So the little brush on this tool is really helpful because when you put that pencil on the skin, you want it to be blended. So once it's on there, I will blend it out. Okay, so we're getting closer. Now let's work on this side. So again, we were a little shy in where those hairs should be. So I'm not gonna work lower than that brow because I don't want that brow on the left side to still look like it's lower than the right. So I'm really just working on correcting the bulb. And I work with a really light-handed touch. So if you have a heavy hand, you're gonna have really dark strokes, really dark shading, and it's gonna be a lot harder to blend it. Again, I'm not gonna come all the way down to that point. I don't like my brows that long. I have a smaller face, so I like to keep it a little more petite. I'm gonna erase these little marks here because I don't need them anymore. And now I'm gonna check, and you know, yeah, my right eyebrow still sits naturally a little higher than my left, but they're getting better. So now I'm going to just fine tune this bulb. Try to get it to look as much like the other side as I can. So one thing that I could do to not have to do this every day is I could go and get powder brow done again. Powder brow is a form of semi-permanent cosmetics, and it gives us the ability to just have our brows done every day so that we don't have to spend 10 minutes to pencil on our brow. But that might not be in your budget, might not be in your lifestyle, it might not be in your personal choices for for what you do for your body, but it definitely would take care of that. So yeah, that's an eyebrow. How to put it on, how to make it as balanced as possible. I definitely think it is better than it was before. And it'll stay all day. These little pencils last pretty well, so unless you're rubbing your face repeatedly throughout the course of the day, those eyebrows should not go anywhere. So I hope that was helpful. Again, I'm Heather Cooper. I am a master esthetician in Cincinnati, Ohio of over 27 years. And I have 2 studios here in Cincinnati, and I do offer personal one-on-one trainings for both permanent cosmetics, eyelash extensions, and makeup. So hopefully this was helpful, and I'll see you in my next video.